the nigella. Of course, the Gypsophila paniculata. Gypsophila. Baby's breath. Isn't it fabulous? It's been the hardest thing trying to keep this a secret. So let's just say we've got an exciting announcement. Garden's looking wonderful. Oh, we've got grapes. Wow. Get to this announcement. We're back in July on a lovely morning after a cup of tea. Well, we were up on the veranda and didn't Dan ask me to marry him? And I said yes. This is where I was sitting when Dan proposed. It was actually the most romantic place he could have chosen ever. It is so personal to us. It's a place we love to be. And it was just beautiful. And there I was in my ancient red fluffy dressing gown. Yeah, I just guess he couldn't resist me there looking my most gorgeous. So we've been keeping that secret for months and months and months. And that, of course, led to what is a proposal all about? Well, the real big secret. We got married. We got married right here with our friends and family. And it was absolutely fabulous. I garden with a lot of flowers. And I think a lot of you might wonder, where are the vegetables? Well, they're here. They're everywhere, in between all of the... I mean, look at those roses. Aren't they fab? Roses, roses, roses. And look at this. The wisteria is flowering for the third time. So where are these vegetables? More roses. Look, grapes. So here's some food. Hiding down here in among all the flowers. So the flowers are here. We've got gooseberries here, more presents. Oh, look at that little gooseberry. Oh, look at that annoying thing there. And another gooseberry. That was a present from Tim and Fatima's daughter. And then we've got courgettes. Now, I kind of want to say this carefully. We haven't had our first courgette just yet, but there are lots of flowers. And as much and all as I look forward to getting the first courgette, I know what it means. I am going to be coming down with courgettes. Now, the flat peach has done something really weird. So that's the flat peach, and that's also the flat peach. So it's dropped everything up high. It's still growing above the graft. But I think this tree got so big so quickly that it's struggling to support itself. Yeah, it's really quite amazing. Mm. Hello. Did you have a good time? And some of you had said I needed to get a miscanthus. So this is a miscanthus sinensis, which is allowed to be grown in Portugal. It is not on the invasive list. I've been kind of coveting this for some time. So now you know why we've been getting all these gifts. This was a gift from Peter and Pauline. Now this whole place was a hive of activity for days and days before the wedding. Our friends rallied together and did flowers, helped Dan move all the tables and get everything set up. Meanwhile, we're still trying to plant, look after the garden, all of those things. So that really kept us extremely busy for quite some time. And I'll be honest, for the last few days, I have done nothing, only wander around, floating around the garden and admiring things rather than doing any work. We've got a sailcloth or sail shade. What's it called? So we've got an awning up here now as well, which we also added. And of course we moved the yucca. Now the water feature, which the last time you saw it was over there. Well, we set up a little table and chairs, another little seating area while the ceremony was going on, which seemed to be enjoyed. So we just left it there. And I did actually plant these leptospermums in the place where I trialled them. Nasturtiums weren't quite this prolific during the ceremony, but my goodness me, they have certainly filled out this space. And we've just made this bamboo structure for the climbers. And then we'll put something in along here under the railings, so that can be there for next year, all being well, and we get some normal temperatures. The welcome garden filled out faster than we expected, and I felt that it looked lovely with the big swathes of Californian poppies and the love in a mist, and that's repeated throughout the entire garden, all through the land. So we've got this kind of repeating series of plants and flowers, which means I don't have to plant very much. I just transplant things, scoop them out of here, pop them over there, and then we just get repeating. And they're as tough as old boots, and they require nothing, no input from me. And the more flowers and things there are, the less weeding I have to do. We had loads of fun in the run-up to the wedding, and quite a few obstacles as well. The most difficult part being doing all the administration. Not actually doing it, but timing it right, because there are really strict timings on birth certificates and prenuptials and all sorts of things. A prenuptial is obligatory here in Portugal. So that was quite a surprising thing to find out. So I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but yeah, maybe I will. So there's birth certificates, apostilles, translations, and permission from your country to marry. So I'm from Ireland, so I had to get a certificate of no impediment from Ireland. Dan, being from the UK, didn't, but most countries in the EU require them. They are required. If your country requires them, then Portugal requires them. So it's quite a thing, and that took 4 months. And then, of course, trying to get everything organised and have the legal ceremony here, as well as having the more intimate ceremony, shall we say. So there was all of that. But of course, like I say, there were the fun things, and the fun things was Dan going to a bespoke tailor here in the heart of central Portugal. As part of the whole wedding, Dan went to a tailor to be fully fitted for his outfit for the wedding. It's such an exciting time. And amazingly, we found an incredibly talented team right in the heart of the Serra da Sor. So we'll see how Dan gets on. So first of all, we're here at the trying on place where we get measured up. We, not me. And Dan is doing some trials of some standard trousers, so we get an idea of the feel and the styling first of all.
Okay, if you turn like this, you see the pin on the bottom of the trousers? It's where we want to do the bottom of the trousers. Yeah.
And we went and he got measured up, then he selected his fabric, he selected a linen, and then the lining and buttons and the styling, and yeah, looked fabulous. So there was all of that. The biggest terrors, as it were, was the weather. Gosh, the weather changed. About a month ago, it was 30 degrees, 28 degrees, 30 degrees. It felt like May was coming in. And then the temperature just dropped, it just dropped like a lump of lead to about 17 degrees, 18 degrees, and rain. And we're getting closer and closer to the wedding date, and I mean, I was obsessed with the weather app, but lo and behold, the weather turned lovely for the wedding, maybe about 23, 24 degrees, but beautiful. Exactly what I could have hoped. It did get cold in the evening, but never mind. The license for our wedding didn't come through until about 10 days before the actual date that we had confirmed. So we weren't 100% sure if we were going to get legally married, but we did right here. So that was all possible, and it was a really lovely registrar. But Maggie acted as celebrant on the day, and she did an amazing job. So we were able to do our own vows and have our own more intimate ceremony. Now, I'm not sure if you actually want to see any of these wedding photographs, or are you going to be bored? So what I'll do is I'll give you two options. See you next time, or stay for a few photos and a couple of small videos from the ceremony, because I did not have a camera in my hand for the entire day, and I've relied on everybody else, and James, who has also done some footage but has been extremely busy and hasn't managed to get it through on time. But we'll have it for ourselves in the future. So I hope you enjoy that. The morning of the wedding, Heidi was here at 6 a.m. to put the flowers on the bower. And it was just a beautiful morning, full of birdsong, and the bird of paradise, which had been sitting with closed petals for ages, just suddenly popped open its first little burst of orange on the morning. It really was incredibly lovely.
At the heart of this wedding are two people in love.
I promise to love you, comfort you, cook weird vegetarian food, be open and honest with you, and stay with you as long as we both shall live.
And I will agree to eat your weird food. As long as we both shall live.
Thank you. Thank you.